MMR matchmaking rank is a hidden number value for all playlists in Rocket League. The number can be viewed in a couple of ways. The easiest for PC players is to just use Bacchus Mod's built-in feature to display MMR. You can also go to websites like Rocket League, Tracker Network to view MMR online, but the number isn't always perfectly updated. Lastly, if you hit GC, then your MMR for the playlist will just be shown on the queue menu, even if you don't have Bacchus Mod. While MMR will only be shown as a whole number, it does have decimals to it. Sometimes Bacchus Mod or Tracker Network can round the number incorrectly, and you'll find yourself like thinking you should have ranked up or dropping out of a rank even though you thought you're safe. But that's not really a big deal because it's only gonna be off by 1 or 2 points. Now, how does your MMR relate to your actual rank? Here's the MMR distribution page on our RL tracker. Here at the bottom, you can see all of the MMR values for each rank and their divisions. The way it works is that you must go above or at the threshold to hit a new division. Going down a division works the same way. Going under that threshold puts you down a division, except for demotion. If you are division 1 for any rank, except for bronze, of course, because you can't go lower than that, you'll hit what most players call the buffer zone instead of demoting. In order to demote, you actually have to go down to Division 3. This demotion system makes it easier to stay in a given rank. Even if you aren't good enough to be in your new rank, or you just have trouble adjusting to the new gameplay, you can still have the reward for climbing. How does MMR work exactly? First off, there's only one thing that determines whether you win or lose MMR. It's did you win or lose the game? It doesn't matter how close the game was, how many goals each team got, or how people individually performed. You can score 20 times while the rest of the lobby is AFK, and you still get the same or very similar MMR. While there's one thing that affects your win or loss of MMR, there are plenty of things that affect the amount of MMR you can win or lose. First off, your 10 placement matches at the beginning of every season are going to affect your MMR the most during the season. Your first game of the season will give you something like 2.5 to 3 times as much MMR as normal, and the multiplier will decrease as you do more matches. Right after placements, you'll still get around 1.5 times MMR, and you'll be down to normal after like 20 to 30 matches in each mode. And these numbers I'm giving out are based on the main competitive playlist. Tournaments and extra modes are likely different. Once your placement multiplier levels out, you'll see a consistent 9 to 10 MMR each game. If you see something bigger or smaller, it is likely that there are different skill levels in the lobby. Sonics tries to give the best matchup it can, but it isn't always possible. Between players of different ranks queuing together, low population, and other factors, you just can't get a lobby full of the same MMR. Also, it's unclear how Psyonix factors placement matches into its matchmaking. This is anecdotal, but I've seen people of a completely different MMR in my matches because they were doing placements. When it comes to your matchmaking different skill levels, Psyonix uses weighted team skill levels. Basically, Psyonix will look at the MMRs of your party and take an average and then lean more towards the highest rank. For example, let's say a Plat 1, a Diamond 1, and a Champ 1 all queued together. There's about 200 MMR in between each player and then 400 total between them. First of all, Psyonix will look for another team with around the same makeup, but if they can't, they will look for a matchup that is somewhere between the Diamond and the Champ. Most likely the other team will be Diamond 2 or 3. Now for the MMR change, Psyonix will take your opponent's weighted team MMR and take more and give less against the lower skill level, and take less and give more against the higher skill level. As far as your skill level, Psyonix will treat you individually. This means that the lowest skill player will climb faster, and the highest skill level will fall the fastest until you eventually reach the same MMR. Using the earlier example, if the mentioned team lost, the Champ 1 would lose around 13 MMR, the Diamond 1 10 MMR, and the Plat would lose about 7. Now for the single biggest and most controversial part of your MMR calculation, your account age. It's unclear how long it lasts, but you have a multiplier in each playlist for 50 games or so, if I had to guess. This multiplier is similar to the placement multiplier, but much, much stronger. Your very first game is going to give you about 80 to 90 MMR. Now you'd also be getting the placement multiplier, but you're still getting 40 to 50 MMR right after placements. Smurfing is what makes this multiplier so controversial. Whether intentional or not, this multiplier is what keeps a lot of Smurfs out of low ranks. If you make a Smurf and win all 10 of your placement matches, you will end up around Champ 1, Div 4. Honestly, it should be higher. Currently, a lot of Smurfs are around Diamond 3 to Grand Champ 3 on their mains. playing in lobbies 1 to 3 ranks below them. Increasing the new account multiplier would drastically reduce that smurfing. I mean, why would anyone grieve lobbies if they had to throw more games and to get into a lower lobby? Finally, a lesser known factor in MMR is your account inactivity. If you don't play for 30 days or more, your account is considered inactive, meaning it loses MMR, kind of like when you're going over to a new season, and it loses your rank placement. Once you get back, once you come back, you'll get a small multiplier for the first few games. To be honest, this multiplier is pretty irrelevant. The boost you get kind of just nullifies the decay you got for inactivity. You won't see any major MMR change because of this. Okay, this isn't a feature anymore, but I'll still include it as an honorable mention. There used to be a multiplier for games won or lost in a streak. I think it's a pretty cool idea. If you lost or won a bunch of games in a row, you'd climb or drop faster. I only know about the second hand. I believe it was removed right around or before I started playing. And I think they removed it because some people would regularly plummet their ranks because they wouldn't stop when they got tilted. I mean, we've all been there. I think it'd be cool to bring back win streaks. You could climb back if you're, or you could climb really quickly if you're dominating, but you aren't going to lose it all in one session. Now, I know that was kind of a lot of info and not a lot of time, but I hope some of you found this helpful. I will say to take some of this with a grain of salt. Sonics hasn't given us their MMR formulas or anything. Websites like Tracker Network have APIs that just tell them the MMR values, but that's about it. Most of this info is based on Psyonix claims, which they can definitely lie about. Secondhand info and anecdotal experiences. If I got anything wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments. Anyways, sub and like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.